and peace. Yesterday, the World Literacy Day was marked, and the theme was promoting multilingual education, literacy for mutual understanding and peace. And we at Agate Radio recognize the part of language in bridging cultural divides and promoting global harmony. Joining me are two distinguished guests. First up, Reverend Father Professor Didacus Kajo of the Department of Education, Administration and Planning, College of Education, Joseph Sawantaka University. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
And we also have with us retired permanent secretary, one-time Idoma language lecturer at Benue State University, and president of Idoma Language Development Council, Edla Oguche Adimanyi. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Welcome, listeners.
Dear listener, this program is streaming live on Agate TV via our website www.agateradiotv.com or via Facebook at Agate Radio TV and on YouTube at Agate TV, all one word. Listen to us online via Radio Garden and download our app on Play Store so that you never miss us again anywhere you are. You can send your contribution via SMS or WhatsApp text messages to 0912 6999404 as the program goes on. At 11, we'll open the phone lines and as well read your messages later. Let's interact with our distinguished guests in the studio. Talking about multilingual education, that brings to mind the fact that education is not only in one language. So, what is the benefit of multilingual education to cognitive reasoning, Elder Adimanyi?
Well, thank you very much. It's a very important topic you have brought up. We are in Nigeria, where we have so many languages and dialects. And we interact together. The colonial masters came and put all of us together as one nation. And we have to talk, think, and work together. So we need even the instrument of education to have a language that we will understand one another, understand each other's culture, and we have to talk with each other in friendly manners. Choose the language that will fit the culture of the other group or other person so that we will have harmony in living together. Thank you very much.
Prof, any response to that contribution, cognitive reasoning and multilingual education? You know, back in the day, I learned that I was not around, but I heard that the generation far, far before mine used to start school in vernacular language, in the local dialect that was dominant in their area, and then go over to the lingua franca later in basic education.
Yes, actually, when what you understand at your first language is better when you translate it into English or into your later languages. The first concepts you understand
Okay.
are better understood at your first language, and then later you can transform them into the other languages you may like. But all this are to harness the transformative potential of literacy by promoting mutual understanding amongst people and the social cohesion and peace.
Okay.
They understand themselves better, and the more you understand yourselves better, the more better you work together.
So multilingual education enables cultural understanding?
Understanding and adaptability to the other persons and languages, tribes, culture, and general social well-being.
Elder, speak more on this issue of cultural understanding, because in your opening remarks you mentioned it in passing. Is it really true that if you understand my language, it will be easier for you to understand my culture and my way of reasoning as well?
Yes, it is true. More so that we have the institution of school.
Yes.
And children come from different cultural backgrounds. their experiences vary.
Okay.
If we understand one another, we have more confidence in each other as we communicate. You make friends more with somebody who understand his language. And it is also important that you think together. Like you said earlier, I started schooling in the 50s. At the time, most of our teachers were from the East. And what they did was to take us from the village straight into the school. In the TIF area, you have a better beginning probably because you had this NKST
Okay.
that handled the language right from the beginning. But the Igbos came from the East and they were teaching us. But they started teaching us also in the Doma language. They taught us the alphabets in the Doma. I think the missionaries, the Methodists, operated more in the South Senatorial Zone. They operated there. So they taught us this, and I went to school at the time. They taught us, they started teaching us in the Doma language, the Igbos who couldn't understand. For example, they gave us examination, and we had one example, very important one. The Doma language said, Oku, Geku, the dead is dead. The dead died.
Alliteration.
Yes, and the Igbo man said, death, the dead cannot die again.
Or was it Zebrudiah, dead die?
He said, it's a wrong, it's not a correct language.
Okay.
I said, no, but that is the way we speak it.
Okay.
We speak it.
But what does it really mean?
Eh?
What does it really mean?
It means somebody has died. We believe that any living person is a dead person.
Okay.
And that is why when somebody dies, we say the dead is dead.
Oh.
That is the expression.
Okay.
Oku,
Okay.
Geku.
Okay.
Yes. To die is to Geku. And so what I'm trying to say is, see, the language, you have to understand the meaning of what you are saying. Have the knowledge, the cognitive language, the creative one. Then you can now translate it to the second language or the third language you are going to learn. But if you do not know your language very well, and you jump into another language to study, you will find it difficult.
So actually, language is somehow tied to a people's way of
Yes, the
so
culture.
for you to even really understand the language, you would also be understanding the culture.
The culture and the environment. The environment. That is very, very important.
And this creates a nexus between, it helps, when you understand the language, it helps to promote peace?
No, it is. Because as you understand the language, and you come together, like my friend, that means my father, had a friend in Tiv. They used to try to trade, come from Otuko down to even Wanone. In those days, he had a friend, Nyika. My father didn't have a child very quickly. When he had me, and he's a boy, he told my father, you have gotten a voice in your father's house.
Okay.
And then he gave me the name, Seka. I don't know whether it's correct. Whether the translation is correct.
Yes, poetically.
You have now a voice in your father's house.
Seka, yes.
Yes, because they understood each other. My father could speak Tiv very well.
Oh, so you have a Tiv name?
If you call Justice Saha now, he will tell you that Seka is with you in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, it makes people trust one another more. And it is the language that can make you know the culture of the other person and appreciate it. Because you appreciate also your own culture. When you see other people speaking the language and you understand what he is saying, definitely you will also appreciate his own culture. The language conveys the culture of the people.
Okay.
It's a vehicle for the culture.
Okay.
It expresses the culture. So if you meet with different children and they come together, have that understanding with one another, there will be peace. That is what I believe.
Well,
that is what the experts also say.
Prof, let's delve more into this issue of language, especially multilingual education. You know, multilingual literacy, I believe, what does it really refer to? Let's even define it.
Yes, if you want to really define it, it's always good to go back to the people that really made today what today is. That is, we go back to what those who established the International World Day of Literacy said the World Day was all about. I think this year, 2024, the organization called UNESCO focused more on addressing literacy challenges in multilingual context to promote lasting peace, because they looked at the multilingual, that is, that there are different types
Of languages.
coming together, but all in promotion of peace. And when they come together, they should come together not to fight wars. They should come together to address concrete existential issues that will make society to move ahead instead of run into chaos. And I think this multilingual kind of context is what we are trying to address here in Nigeria too. Because when we bring it to, we come together, we do better in moving society ahead rather than moving it backwards.
There was a time, there was this movement of Wazobia. How do we now select a language? Because we have so many languages in Nigeria. Looking at this multilingual context, Nigeria is a multilingual nation. How do we now decide which language to study, which language to understand? Because we can't ask our children to go to school and learn over 400 languages, or like in Benue, maybe 5, 6, or 7. Wouldn't that be burdensome? How do we decide which one to study and which one not to study?
Let me come in here.
Yeah,
I think to decide which of the languages in our kind of multilingual setup, we look at the economics of the time and place also. You see, when in the northern Nigeria, for instance, Hausa language took over so many societies.
Yes.
Because the people were trading using Hausa language. Most of the places where Hausa is spoken now, those places, those people are not Hausa people.
They have their own language.
They have their own language. They are only Hausa speaking. They are not really Hausa people. But so the dominant language here was Hausa, and it was used for trading and for other economic purposes. And so it became widespread, used also for religion and other things. It engendered a very common understanding, because people had to put aside their own languages and pick up this all-embracing one. So when we want to pick an all-embracing language, we look at how the expanse of that language, for instance, how influential the language is, and maybe how easy to understand it is. But the more spread, the more common it becomes, and the better to be used, even when it suppresses other languages.
Okay, can I comment?
Yes, yes.
Yes, like he said, Nigeria is a multi-language kind of nation. And each linguistic community was a kingdom of its own
Before the
coming
colonial.
of the colonial masters. And as they brought us together, we need to start understanding one another. So we have to go to school. They introduced schooling in 1824, and was about 100 years before it came to us in southern Makodi, Benue,
Okay.
in the Doma area, because school came to us in 1924. But the school started in Nigeria in 1824 in Yorubaran, in Badagry. And people were communicating in English. And if they brought the various ethnic groups together with their different languages, they need to start teaching them how to read and write and do their assignment for them. But then, scientists, the experts in language, say that a child learns better in his own mother tongue. He understands situations better when you explain it to him or her in his own mother tongue. So the best thing, UNESCO started in, I think, in 1930, that every child should be taught in his own mother tongue, primaries 1 to 5 or 6, before they are introduced to the second language or any other language. And that was the effort the Nigerian government have been trying all this time. You remember that the National Assembly passed a resolution, or I don't know what it is, but they approved it. They passed it in the House, that they should start teaching indigenous languages in Nigeria.
Again?
Yes, Benue State House of Assembly demonstrated it. They approved it. But now it's left for our government to have the political will
To implement?
to implement and command the schools or through Ministry of Education to start teaching it and begin to fund it. And when you teach the children in their mother tongue and they learn very well before going out, they will have a very clear expectation of whatever, the clear expectation that brings inclusivity when they come together in one class with other people. You have your own, I have my own, we come together. Now we have a national language, which is English. But if you go back to your home, you use your language. You use the mother tongue. And government should fund it. And it also helps bringing cultural diversities together to function as one, as Nigeria. When you are in UK or in another country, and you see the Igbos dancing, Yorubas dancing, Tiv dancing, the Idoma dancing, you feel at home that this is from my country. You know, it gives you that sense of belonging for us to know our mother tongue very well before we go to the second distance. And it's also open your understanding. And this is, Prof, this is how I can still go for now. Yes.
Of course, let's talk about Prof. Let's talk about, as if you were handed over to him as if you knew what I was going to ask him. What is the benefit of multilingual education self in educational development? And this is your 18-yard box. You know, you are a professor of educational administration and planning. What is the difference? What is the importance of multilingual education? As in, can you tell concretely that someone who can speak and maybe write more than one language has a tendency to do better in school?
Speaking more than one language really gives you an advantage, because if you speak more than one language, you understand also more than one language. So there are different concepts in different languages. And because you can speak more than one, you can understand more than one also. So when you understand more than one, you enrich your understanding and you become better than that person who is just understanding one.
So the tendencies to myopia are eroded.
Yes, eroded, and then you do better as a person also.
Now it is said that children or monolingual understanding, those who come from monolingual counterparts, they are not as exposed as those who can speak 2, 3 languages. They don't perform well like them. But we always say that children who speak many languages are prone to make more friends outside their own zone, own comfort zone. They make more friends, and they feel freer with their peers coming from other places who influence them and relate with them and trust them and believe in them. It's the person you understand his language that you trust and you believe in him. So they do better. And it is easier for them to use their own language to understand the other languages. Said, if I say to somebody, this is rabbit, in Idoma, the child from Idoma area would say it is Iyeji. The thief would say alum, but it's the same thing we are referring to. And if we share it in the class, we can then make fun with it. We make fun with the language and feel free, relax with one another. But if you do not understand each other, it makes it difficult. Sometimes learning the language, new language, without bringing your own mother tongue into it. It's like taking a child from one place and put him in a very strange land. And when people are speaking around him or her, he doesn't understand what they are talking about. The very strange one. So start by training your own child in your own language. Then you can now progress to the next language. And by the time they come together from different areas, they will feel relaxed with one another to learn each other. They'll be excited. Enthusiasm will be there for me to learn your language, for you to learn my language. And cooperation begin to come.
Let's look at this issue. Most parents nowadays, especially in urban centers, do not want to, or let me say, are not too keen on teaching their children their mother tongue or vernacular. I don't even like referring to our indigenous languages as vernacular because to me it means the language is second class. So most parents, let's look at Makudi as a case study, would prefer to take their children to school, and even at home they speak English with them because they want their children to speak the best of English. But when it comes to their local dialects, you greet a child in the local, he or she doesn't understand that dialect. Prof, help us to understand the danger of limiting our children just to a lingua franca without allowing them to even understand their own mother tongue.
It brings a lot of inferiority complex. Because when you denounce your own language and embrace just the lingua franca alone, it kind of diminishes what your origins are, kind of thing. And so it makes you think you are second class. And when you understand and adapt yourself to understanding that really my language is second class, your whole being becomes a second class. So it is very important that people should understand that going from your own language to the bigger language, let me say, to the lingua franca, is very important. But your own must not be thrown away also. Your own must form the basis from where you move to the other. So understanding many languages opens doors for you. It opens the society for you, and it kind of enhances you, and it helps you overcome barriers and educates you and literally improves you in such dimensions that you can never really tell. So this multilingual kind of relationship that we are talking about today means that we should not really throw away one for another, but we should incorporate, we should go from one to another and incorporate everything into a living whole and make use of all of what we have to enhance ourselves for a better society.
Prof is talking about incorporation, not abandoning one over the other. You know, Elder, if one does not even understand his or her own mother tongue, there will be no room for one to begin to understand another indigenous dialect. What is the value of the home to inculcate mother tongue so that we'll be equipped to even start pursuing other dialects to enrich our multilingualism?
So, okay, let me come back, starting from the genesis of our problem. In the 60s, I think it was 1960 to be specific, there was a policy in the North, at that time, not the whole country, that you should abandon teaching your local languages in the school and go straight for English. There was a textbook on straight for English. I don't think whether you remember.
English, yes.
So most of the parents you talked about, it was part of your question to the prof earlier, talk about parents not teaching their children their languages, but ask them to go for English and so forth. One, let me say first that English became a status quo in our society. If you can speak better English, you are a better person. Whether you don't have much in your head, you are a very good person if you are fluent in English. That is what we believe. The social status kind of parameter. But what I want to explain to you, the problem we are facing now, by that policy in 1960, straight for English, they abandoned teaching indigenous languages in the various local, in the mother tongue. And so, I'm sure most of the parents now in Makurdi, very few, probably were born in the 50s. Most of the parents now were born in the 60s, I believe, from 60 upward, and they are the parents now. So they didn't go through the teaching of mother tongue. In the,
so they don't know any better.
They don't know about it. They don't know. Okay. I know the Abigbedi, the thief know your Abachada.
Abachada.
You know it. I know the Abigbedi. That is why I continue to. You can see, if it were a television, I would have shown you that the syllabus is here, that we have developed in BSU.
We are streaming on TV, so you can show them.
You are using it?
Yes, we are streaming on television. Yeah, that's your camera.
All right. So you can see. We developed this syllabus. Kokpa ongu okodidoma ipinokpa nenche. That is the syllabus for teaching the Doma language in primary school.
Oh.
That is what it means.
Okay.
If you can flick through.
Okay. My studio assistant will get that to me later.
Okay.
For so now, we can go ahead.
All right. So now those of us who developed this thing, we went to school in the 50s. At the time, this language was being taught. But in the 60s, those who went to school in the 60s, from 60 to this time, were no more taught the language. And so when they give birth, when they got educated, got jobs, got employed, how do you want them to pass to the children what they have not known? That is where our problem started from. But whatever it is, there is now a desire for every group, every family, to start speaking or teaching the mother tongue to the children. Speak it in your family. Let the child know your values. Can only understand because you speak English alone. You don't understand the culture of English people.
No.
When I was in the school, in the university, the white woman teaching us English literature, he said, if you see any novel in English with ruined buildings, they enjoy it. They very much enjoy it. But if you see any novel that has rat, they are scared. They don't want it. It's a horrible one. No, this is what they said. So we have value for these things, for these symbols. That is part of culture.
Meanwhile, the average Steve man will see lat and say it's meat.
Okay.
That's on the lighter note.
Yes, it's the culture. Oh. It's the culture of the people that you transmit through the language, the mother tongue. And that is why the English people say the mother tongue. We will say the father tongue in our own translation. That is what we say. But the English person said, because a child who is inside the mother's womb already has started listening to what they are saying outside. Prof, am I lying? That is what the expert said.
Yes, they started right from.
Yes, they begin to listen to what the mother will speak, as the mother speak to the child. Right in the womb, the child begins to get, as he was born out, he has already the knowledge of this language. And then you stop him from developing that language, and you go straight for a foreign language. The child has to begin to learn again. The experts told us, as a particular family in France, the mother was about 6 months old. The pregnancy was about 6 months old when they relocated to Germany. And then it was full time, she delivered. The first word the child said was French. The French word was the first word, the recognized word that the child spoke. So the child in the womb begins to learn the language. Why do you have to disconnect that child at a point from that, developing that language, to continue with his thinking, reasoning, creativity, and any other thing?
What's the benefit of having teaching in more than one language for the younger ones, Prof? Because as an educational administrator, I'm sure that you have gone through some of these workshops and seminars to study deeper and harder these concepts. Like when we talk about multilingual contexts, for you work in a technical university, what's the benefit of multilingual literacy, even in teaching these hard and fast scientific and technical concepts?
You see, these hard and fast technical concepts are better understood in your own language and in the first language.
Okay.
Because the terminologies, when understood in the first language, are better adapted to when you apply the second language now. They are better understood and better used. So, if you have some technical equipments, for instance, and you know them in your own native language, then you come and you have to apply them generally using lingua franca or using English language or other things. Understanding them from your own background and understanding them better makes you apply them better also. So these languages are of immense help when you understand them very well to understanding the technical terms and technical education as applied to technical education and other things later in life. And as you progress, you make a better progress from one to another than just sticking to one.
Elder, let's converse about the challenges in multilingual literacy, having to resurrect what was the norm decades ago. What are some of the challenges in your work? You were a lecturer in Idoma language in BSU. You are the president of the Idoma
Language Development
Council. What are some of the challenges you have encountered?
One, the first challenge we have now is for people to accept it. The various families to accept going back again to teaching their children the mother tongue. That is one. Number two is for the school to develop curriculum to include the teaching of these languages in the school formally. Because at the family level, we teach the children learn informally through conversation, through storytelling. We have these moonlight stories in the villages and various places, in our homes. Then, but the major one is for the government now to provide the facilities, the funding, and the policy, the political will to make policies that will promote the teaching of the mother tongue in schools, and then incorporate it with the general curriculum development. No, the prof will tell you, when you talk about curriculum, generally, is to bring in all the study, the expectations, the government or the individual, the families or the schools, the whole thing, in holistic form that you want to present. Then you can come down and break it down to smaller subjects, to English, to Idoma language, to Itiyo language, or to language English, or any other one. But the curriculum should have that political will to introduce the teaching of indigenous languages or mother tongue in schools. It's the government that can give that policy. And then the school, the university, the secondary schools, or the Ministry of Education at the state level introduce it. Let it be captured in the curriculum. If it is done, then the government will fund it. There's no other way to run away from it.
Limited resources is an issue that is affecting all sectors, not just education, but particularly with multilingual literacy curriculum like Elder has advocated.
If we go back to some basic things, we'll see that parents have a big duty. You mentioned earlier that looking at the kind of parents we have now, many of them feel it is kind of a status thing to make sure your children speak only English also, both at home and in school. I, some time ago, tried to make parents understand this issue by trying to allow their children to watch some of these films produced in their own languages. But because they were so much in love with the English films, they would abandon the ones produced in their own languages and think these ones are second class. But the ones produced in their own languages have a way of teaching their own history, have a way to teach them the concepts and the understandings of their own cultural backgrounds. But when they leave them completely and go for English, they miss a lot. And so to connect the two, you see there will be a disconnect somewhere in between. So I think parents have a very big duty. So government should first, or society should first educate the parents, and then leave it to the parents to educate their wards and their children, and it will move better, really move better.
Elder, let's return back to the question of equity. When it comes to multilingual literacy, how do we ensure equity? That one, because Prof mentioned the other time that in most parts of the North, education, when local dialect education was advocated, it was in Hausa language. Many languages that had, many communities that had their own languages had to now adopt a third language, and theirs was maybe over time would suffer. How do we ensure equity as we promote multilingual education?
One, thank you very much for that question. multi-language, the equity in our planning, in the education, will come at each stage. One, at the local level. Most of the local governments in Tivland will have no problem teaching or putting it in their program. The Idoma area will not have problem. Igede will not have problem. But when we come to Benue, now they can provide for this. And even for other foreigners who stay in Benue, they can now use the English. But they must have been taught in their various mother tongue in their local areas before coming together. But as they come together, we believe it brings heightened sensitivity towards cultural awareness from those local areas. They will come with their own. Then they will be speaking different languages, but makes them open to dialogue with other cultures. You speak your own to me, I speak my own to you. It will bring us closer, to understand us. And it allows you to talk directly to people from other linguistic communities and backgrounds, which improves intercultural communication skills. That is another very important thing. Intercultural communication skills is very, very important. But at the Nigerian level, yes, the federal government we use our national language is English. That is what we speak. But in Igbo, in Yoruba, even up to PhD level, they are pursuing their own languages. Why can't we do it in Benue? Why can't we do it in the north? But like in Plateau, where almost every compound has a distinct language, it becomes difficult. That is where we have the problem. That's why they communicate for a larger group, for understanding, and their culture become like Hausa culture too. But Hausa is not now limited to any particular community. Hausa is not the zonal kind of language like Swahili in the East Africa. Prof,
Yes.
you are in the languages, so you know this. So it spreads to that place. And TIF here, let me mention this, I'm not very competent in it, I'm not qualified. But here, all the Tulu people understand TIF. Is that correct? And the new form understand TIF. But the TIF people don't understand their language very, very much. Not every TIF man understands the language very well. But now when you are in the school, you use the TIF language and they learn it. So this is the essence of the multilingual lingualism in education. The education will bring the various ethnic groups, the languages together in the system through the school, and they understand each other better, each other's culture, and they don't discriminate against the none will appear superior to the other. I think this is my position.
Okay. Prof, you want to contribute as well?
Yes, to ensure equity, I think government policies are very important.
Yes.
And then media houses, such as this radio station, for example, has a big role to play. I remember when we had first radio stations coming up in Benue State, for instance, they did a lot of good because they were now going to broadcast news and other programs and in various languages. So they went as far as identifying various languages. When it came to time for news, for instance, you will have news in Idoma, Tiv, then you go down to Hausa, Igede, Etilo, and then they identified the languages as they went on, identified them very much, and then they continued. Then the churches. Outside the media houses, the churches also have a big role to play to ensure this equity thing.
Okay, the churches were actually doing that before now in terms of like the example that Adimangi gave of educating from the basic level up to where they had to transition into conventional or let me say the lingua franca education. You mentioned government policy, and Elder Adimangi informed us earlier that the laws have been passed and domesticated at the state level. We hope that the government will be able to give the political backing necessary to make that work better. You're listening to iGate Radio, its perspectives, and we are talking about multilingual education, promoting multilingual education, literacy for mutual understanding and peace. And of course, we are streaming this live on iGate TV via our website, www.iGateRadioTV.com, or via Facebook at iGate Radio/TV, and on YouTube at iGate TV, all one word. You can listen to us online via our Radio Garden or download our app on Play Store, iGate News, so that you never miss us anywhere you are. And you can send your contributions via SMS and or WhatsApp text messages to 0912 699 9404. And don't forget that at 10 o'clock we'll open the phone lines to take your contributions. So what methods can we use, Prof? Let's begin to discuss the methods we can use to promote multilingual literacy so that this mutual understanding we are seeking for can begin to take place.
I think in the use of methods, we could use several methods. For instance, in schools, we could use textbooks and to produce textbooks that we have this multilingual reflection, and we could also use maybe use of dances, for instance, could be employed. We could use just an understanding of maybe our different cultural setups translated into various dramas that could incorporate this multilingual understanding of our society. And these could be aspects towards which we can begin in a very small ways to educate people towards the bigger concepts we uphold in this multilingual approach to educating our people to make society better and peaceful.
Okay, Elder, let's look at Prof. has just mentioned some of the methods. You know, you had told us earlier that the multilingual educating in indigenous languages, the law was passed at the national level and domesticated here. In your experience, what other ways can we commence while we wait for that policy to be enforced?
Thank you very much. Like the Prof has just said, there are various ways that we can incorporate a system in schools that will bring these people together. I watched a video, very short video. It was a Chinese one. What we have lost in our villages, the Chinese are still using them. We used to have different games in our homes. When you have a school in the town, in the city where people from different cultural backgrounds live, why can't we bring them? We used to do one, we dance together, everybody on the same line, about two groups, one on the other side, this side, put your hands on your shoulders, you dance and meet. And the person who will be leading the song that directs you will tell you, move, 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 squat. Everybody will squat. say stand up, everybody will stand up. Say clap, they will begin to clap. You know, by the time you do these things, the child that has a different language, who is there, he knows when they squat, koku, chanje, guabo. Then, by the time the group has come very close to each other, then they will now say, come and embrace. Now the girls amongst you who don't like to embrace the boys. And they will scatter, and the whole thing will scatter. They will run back.
It will become fun.
Exactly, become fun, and they start a new thing again. Now the Chinese, I have just I saw that video just a few weeks back. Somebody posted it. They had what we have lost. In the primary school, we used to have what they called PT. I don't know whether you were up at that time, PT. About 9 o'clock, after the first 3 lessons in the primary school, you go out for PT. After PT, you return again to the class.
Elder, is the PT playtime?
No, it's physical education, period.
Okay,
they put it on the timetable.
Okay.
So you go out there, and whatever local program you have, dancing, running, jumping, then the people who come from teacher training colleges will now come with exercises, physical exercises like the footballers do, just to give them energy and strength. But those things, I don't think they have put now physical education training in the primary schools. I don't think they have that one on their timetable. I don't know whether they do.
I think one other thing we can use now is the social media.
Yes.
Technology. I was coming to that.
Yes.
Social media.
So how do we use technology? You are mentioning social media, one of them.
Okay. Because so many people are taking to it these days. We could begin to put on some small programs on it.
You may have some plays and
like
recorded. But let them see you move, and people will they don't get tired when they are physically challenged, and people are watching the activities. They don't get tired very easily. They are not fatigued easily. So many groups can come together. They will enjoy it. So I think this is one way that we can still bring back the old excitement, enthusiasm in learning our indigenous or mother tongue in schools.
Prof, you just started, you broached on the subject of using technology, and you mentioned social media. Can you tell us more about other technological and innovative approaches we can use to, should I say, resurrect the literacy of literacy in our mother tongues, and therefore promote multilingual literacy, leading to understanding and peace?
Yes, I think the other things we could also do, as we use social media, we could also use the games, we could also use dramas, we could also use dance, we could also use the internet, for instance. There are certain things we could put up there that will not just inform us, but inform the world in general that something good is happening here at our own local levels. And so we could also use, maybe by use our own media houses now with a different view. That is, we could, right now that we have radio stations streaming on actually on YouTube, we have them streaming on Facebook and other aspects of this. We could also, they could also adapt some programs that could really be multilingual, educative, and could really help us and show society that this is possible and workable. And if society picks up from there, we could really move forward.
Well, just to inform you, dear listener, that iGate Radio, if you download our app from Google Play Store, iGate News, just search for AGATENEWS. That's iGate News. If you search for that, you see our app. And once you download it, you would see that we have an online radio on the app that transmits in TIV language. And as time goes on, we'll add other languages. So just to corroborate Prof's point, we have an online radio that transmits strictly in TIV. There you can listen to great TIV songs, you can listen to TIV proverbs, you can listen to TIV stories and other TIV content right on that app. And that is one of the advantages of downloading our app. You're listening to iGate Radio News, its perspective. Before we take calls, before we start taking calls from our listeners, what is the relevance of using language tutoring to preserve let me just simplify. What is the importance of preserving our local languages?
That they have an origin. They have a place they have come from. They belong to a group. And each person has to know his origin. And if you know your origin and you know the language of that origin, that community, you will feel better. But if you don't have, and if you say you belong to a place and you don't understand the language of that place, you will feel inferior when you come together. It helps people to understand their own people and be happy, feel satisfied with one another in that community.
Okay.
Also, we can, in trying to preserve our local languages, we ensure the future of our society. Yes, because society then moves on.
Like we said earlier, we talked about the stories, the folk tales from our various communities, which now I think the present technology will afford us even to put it in the form of play for others to watch.
Yes.
Yes, and so forth. Then proverbs. The proverbs emanate from our environment, or tortoise, or any other being, or even the stick around you. And if the children will know the importance and use that to interpret it, anytime they come across such a word, they will be reminded of that proverb. And when the proverb is said, using such a thing, they will now think back of their home and their culture. So you can use proverbs, you can use storytelling, you can use singing, like earlier mentioned. Dances will come with songs, and most of the songs, there will be a vocalist among them that will be singing praises and praises. I met a man who said he wanted to commit a crime, but he was afraid. Maybe one day when he dies, a singer in the community will use his name as an example, and the family will feel humiliated. So he stopped it. You know, this is kind of a thing. It will teach them.
So from our local language, it can become a moral beacon for people to do right.
It is.
The lines are now open for you to call. For text messages and WhatsApp, we're giving you earlier 0912-699-404, and for calls 0814-33-59292. Hello, good morning. You can call back.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
I love this program.
We love you too. What is your name, sir?
I'm Friday, probably known as Skyrocker. Friday with Hibo.
Friday Ehibo. From where, sir?
Airport Village, Makodi, sir.
Okay. Friday, we're listening.
I keep telling my people, I said, there's no way you will put your language aside and start the English something. Teach the child the language first. He's living in an environment that speaks English, he will still learn that English. He goes to school that teaches in English, he will still learn that English. This language teaching of it starts from the home. If we, the parents, refuse to teach our children our local language, definitely they will be lost tomorrow. Like me as a person, I'm from Edo State. I love the thief culture. I live with them. I even enter their meetings while I was in school.
Mm.
So I don't think we should throw away these languages. It will help us tomorrow. I heard the guests in the house they talk about multilingual, this thing, what have you languages there. It is very, very good. We must teach. We must not use our hands to erode or erase our language off and pick the Western education. No, it's very, very wrong. We should teach our children. It should start from the home first before going to the school.
All right. Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
sir.
Mr. Ahibo.
All right.
Mr. Ahibo, agreeing with you, Prof. and Elder, that we should start from the home before going out. Hello?
Yes, hello. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, we can.
Yes, Igbudu Nenge.
Igbudu Tenenge. From where, Igbudu?
Yes, calling from welfare quarters at the moment.
Okay, sir.
Yes, to my own understanding, I think multilingual education is really good because even in English language, during my university days and secondary school days, there are concepts. If you fail to understand it in English, but when you try to translate it back to your own mother tongue, you will get the concept of what they are trying to say. Okay, let me give an example. There's this thing that used to confuse them between sitting on a bike, on a car, or in a car. But when you translate it to your language, I know that then I know that I'm supposed to sit in the car and I'm supposed to sit on a bike.
Hmm.
Am I making it?
Yes.
So there are some concepts that immediately if you translate it to your mother tongue, you would understand the misery behind some languages and some scientific concepts. The same thing applies. When you try to change it to your own traditional concept, you get the understanding better. And believe you me, if I read T Bible, I understand it more detailed than if I read the English version. So if we have to get the real meaning of a verse in the English Bible, I try to read it in Steve language too. Then I get a better understanding. So I think it's a welcome development and we should try to teach our children our modern tongues. Just like one of the speakers was saying, that right from the womb, the child understands the language of his mother. Because if the child is kicking, the mother will be saying, yeah, as she's pressing her tummy, the child simultaneously, due to that hormonal interplay, the child will not stop disturbing her. So he understands the mother right from the womb. So it is good that we should encourage our mother tongue and bring it back to limelight. That is my little contribution. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Igbudu. Igbudu, speaking about Kaitamashagugu, Inyoshim, Itumashin, Matu, using teeth to understand the various. Hello?
Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Well, I thank the two guests in the house. My name is Jonathan Ichawe from Kufu Estate, North Bank.
Okay, sir. Elder Chavi, good morning.
Yes. Pardon?
Good morning, Elder.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
I went to school, to a mission school, where I was taught in Tiv language from primaries 1 to 4. And I tell you, it was much easier for me when I began to learn English, because I understood how languages are spoken.
Exactly.
I was taught nature science in TIF. I was taught arithmetic in TIF. I was taught religious knowledge in TIF. And when I translated to English, it was very smooth, easy, from primary 5. And the specialist, the professional there said, it's easier to translate when you know to move from one language to another, from your own mother tongue. Let me give you an example. the chief man has a problem with R and L.
Yes.
Because lao alone, lao no. You know la.
Mm.
Even if you don't teach him teach when he is from young age, when he grows, he will still have that problem. That's telling you that it is ingrained. The language, the mother tongue, is ingrained in the brain. So also a Yoruba man, whether he is born in England and doesn't know any Yoruba, he has a problem with H.
That is very correct.
Yes. So it is inborn, the language, the mother language, like the expert said. The mother starts talking with the child from in the belly, in the womb. And the advantages of the language, the mother tongue, are many. I don't want for other people to talk.
Yes,
I won't go on giving examples.
Yes, sir. Thank you so
But
much.
maybe I should give one. When they went to Entebbe, the Israelis, and to recapture those people that were captured by the enemy, they spoke a Jew. And every Jew man knew that he should lie down. When they started shooting the enemy soldiers, every Jew heard the language. For example, if there was one Jew who didn't understand Jew, he would stand up and he would be killed.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, all the callers.
Yes, we have them in different groups. We have bilingual,
Mm-hmm.
that is learning another language in addition to your own.
Yes.
Then we have the bilingual is with one language along with your own.
Mm-hmm.
Trilingual means another you learn 3 languages. Then we have multilingual,
Many
more
languages.
than 3,
Yes.
4 or upward. That is it. And if you do that, you become a polyglot. Somebody can say, the expert said use a polyglot. It's for fun. Sometimes you learn the language for fun of it.
Okay.
You learn it for fun of it. You joke with it and be happy with it. But if you have, you learn your language, learn another language, and you get 3 languages to your credit, you will be more exposed in life.
Mm.
At the social level, you will interact better, freely with people. And if you learn more languages and you are good in them, you understand. But let me tell you that.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, sir. Sorry, Elder. Let's take this call.
Yeah, this is Dondover James from Akpa in Boko local government of Benue State.
Donduve James from Akpai.
Yes, sir.
Donduve.
My greetings to the elder and the prof. Yeah, they have spoken very well. That is what we have been advocating for long. There was a time we heard that the government has a policy in education that those in the primary school must be taught the language of the mother tongue as from primary 1 to 6, and then when you are in secondary school, you will be taught other languages. We embrace it, and they haven't implemented it till today. We are worried. When these issues come up, they should have that political will, try and make it visible and then practicable, so that we will see the dividends of such policies immediately. Language breaks barriers, but before you know your own vividly, that you can be able to excel in any other language. So our children must be taught. I am afraid most of the parents want their children to learn the English language first. That is not the best thing for our children. When we teach them our language, they know it, they know even proverbs in it, they can excel in any other language. And when they are exposed to the other languages, they can make friends and they can even break barriers. Because when there is something that you would have known if you haven't taught the other languages, but you have been taught. Then I embrace multilingual languages and then first teach you the mother language first. That is my advice. I employ the government to be serious when policies of this nature come on board. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Donduve.
Yeah.
Donduve, carry on, Elder, with what you're saying before.
I think that is a very good contribution. So like we were saying, if you speak proverbs, speak in proverbs, you tell the folklore, speak we tell children stories about the village, their origin, and so forth in your own language. And they grow up and they will not forget it. The Roman Catholic, in its policy, said, give me a child for 7 years of the first 7 years. Take him away, and he's forever a Roman Catholic. And by the time at that infancy, that the beginning, as if you instill that culture into that child, wherever that child goes, he will never forget. And that culture you have instilled in him will guide his character, it will guide his behavior, his values, and so forth, the way he looks at value in life. And because all our language is about our environment, and what the people don't want, they will use derogatory expressions for such things in our language. But if the English person dislikes something, and we appreciate such a thing, and they use derogatory language over there, we cannot just, if you imbibe it, it's a confusion in understanding and in a language. You know. So if we know our culture, know our values, know our background, I think in education is the cooperation between your culture and the other culture for peace and for you to enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elder. Hello?
Good morning, Nat.
It's not Nathaniel, it's Emmanuel standing in for Nathaniel this morning.
Sorry, Emmanuel. I'm just tuning in, but I catch up the topic of discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank the guests in the studio. I will start from the home front. I think the parents have a large role to play.
What is
on
your
the
name?
Topic you are.
What is your name?
This is the voice of Mark Anwangin, the father, who is good from Seaga Gologogo.
Okay, Mark, good morning.
Yes. So the parents have a large role to play, simply because the child started growing up through the parent care. So at the childhood stage, I think it is from there that you know that the child has the experience. And so if you see, even our children that were living, they are living with us from the rural communities, it is difficult for them to speak our mother tongue language, which I can refer as a key man. So from the government side, I think government need to do more to make sure that I think the guest in the studio was enlightened that even the National Assembly passes this bill of teaching of indigenous languages in our various schools and institutions. So the government should make sure that this policy is being implemented, so that our children, while they leave us from home, they will still have the teaching of indigenous language in our various schools. And I want to appeal to the government that there is a need that they will involve the traditional institute by creating community hall meetings for awareness and sensitization over the learning of our indigenous languages. I think if we can look backward, we will remember that there are some brothers that killed brothers during Jukun and Fulani and crisis in Taraba State. When they called somebody and they asked you to prove that you are a person from this tribe, many were failing because of failure of speaking or answering some questions based on their cultural belief. So if you see, now we form our age mate, go to age mate, we used to operate a full culture there. And if you ask many of them, there are so many of the youth now that are even degree holder that they
and they will be unable to write a sentence in T language. And at that our age, they purely write everything, speak everything in T language.
All
So
right.
I
Thank you
think
so much.
it is a frustration. So you, the advocate, whenever you are discussing culture, I think it will be better to discuss in our T language, or the indigenous language that we have in Benue State
All
here.
right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Mark, thank you. We have programs in our various local languages, and because of our lingua franca, we also had to take this topic in a language that others can also understand. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, the presenter and the guests in the house. Thank you for the education and the mother tongue. You have spoken great. I want just to contribute. Other people have said a lot of things.
What is your name, sir? What is your name, sir?
I am Mr. AGM from Akbehe, Makodi.
Mr. Who?
Ade GM from Akbehe, Makodi.
Okay, Ade GM.
Yes, yes.
Okay. What does the GM stand for?
The GM is a long story, so it's popularly known that it's a long story, and we have a short time to contribute. So let's take it like that.
You should have a surname anyway, Ade. Ade who?
Okay, Ade GM Mike.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
From
where, sir?
So my contribution. Hello.
I'm with you.
Okay, my contribution is just very short. The largest education of the mother tongue is from the parents, especially the mother and the father. And you see, even WHO, World Health Organization, advise women to at least give their children breastfeeding for, if they can do it, at least more than a year. And my wife tried that and give my son breast for good 2 years, and the child is very, very wonderful. Brilliantly, he is academically brilliant. So I know that upbringing of tongue starts from the home, right from the womb, just like other scholars have said. So we should do that from the home seriously before the child go out to any other thing. If we want any good understanding, if we want academic brilliancy, the child should start with the mother tongue. And our parents are contributing or making this faulty to our children or speaking English when the children are even not yet born. So it is wrong. Let's say the parents that it is wrong to do that. And without your mother tongue, you have no identity. So they should know that. Whether you speak English and you are not English woman, you are not English man, your child will not be English man or woman. So the mother tongue first. Thank you very much. And the guests in the house, they have done justice to this topic.
Thank you.
I'm grateful. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. The number to call is 0814-335-9292 to be part of the conversation. And you can also send in your text messages or messages to WhatsApp via 0912-699-404. Let me take one of the messages that has come in so far. This one says, no nation can thrive without the cannibalized effort of the school, that is engineers. Okay. However, may we endow our educational system to enhance learning of those multilingual languages in the cosmos. Good morning, the panelists, and thanks to Tiavia Emmanuel. Happy day for literacy celebration. Utsua Isaac from Guma. Okay, thank you, Utsua. And if you want to be like Utsua, the number is 09126 999
Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Makra Anyog from North Bank, Makopi.
Okay.
Our languages is very good if all of us will be teaching our children. Because sometimes you will be in the house as a person. And when you are in the house, a stranger, the stranger will understand what you are sending your child for. But you want privacy, you can talk to your child in your language, especially me, an Igbo man. I'm supposed to speak in Igbo to my child to go and bring me cola, bring me water, so that I can give to my strangers. Or I will talk to my child in a language that he will understand, so that other people will not understand. This one is also good. It's for us to be teaching our children right from our home. And the other way around again is that when you marry a wife that is not from the same dialect with you, sometimes it becomes a problem. And that is why I'm advocating that if you are dating a woman or you in courtship with a woman who is not your tribe, you should send her to your village so that she will go and learn your language. And when she learns the language, she come back. By the time she gives birth to a child, I think at that time she will start speaking your own the language of the husband, or the language of her own, so that the child will understand. But if you don't do that, and at the end of the day, you as a husband, you speak English, you as a wife, you speak English in the same house, how do you expect that child to speak your language? So it's good for all of us as people of different tribes. We should come together and make sure that husband and wife, they learn the same language, or they hear their languages and they speak it in presence of their children. And that's why we make the children to speak the languages that they own, their father's languages. So, and again, within the environment where you are staying, make sure that your child is not carried away. You should also speak other languages within the environment also. That one also will save that child from any problem. No matter, maybe he will be found somewhere and maybe something will start happening, or they will be talking some certain things that will harm him. Maybe hearing those languages, it will help him also. So I am of the opinion that wherever you find yourself, you have to learn the language, and let that language also be a permanent thing in you, and that will help you also to do wonderful things. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
God
Elder.
bless
Thank you.
Target Radio for giving us this type of topic that is helping to problems within our environment.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. That's Emeka Inyogo from North Bank. And our callers always have interesting contributions, and sometimes they can go off on a tangent
They do.
that you do not expect.
I say like the other person calling, I don't know from where, talking about this program that should have been in TIP. They were talking about
multilingual.
Monolingual. That is monolingual now. I will say monolingual is not enough now.
Yes.
The world had gone beyond that level.
Yeah.
But we are saying our children have to learn the mother tongue, because the environment they grow, the environment their father understand that we speak about all the time is their own cultural background. And that is why they have to speak. But today, we are coming from different areas and congregating, living together in the cities and so forth. And these children don't live back in our villages where we used to live and understand. We know the names of the streams. We know the names of the hills.
The
we know the trees. I know the children now. Call a tree boy. Ask him, what is the name of this tree? He won't be able to tell you now. And the same thing, we have yam, the names of yams in your farm.
The various species.
Some of them don't even know how they make plant yam and harvest it. But they need to. But if the parents are talking about it and they go on holidays, they will understand and say, oh, this is what my parents are talking about. So
Prof,
yes.
just shed more light on the fact that it seems like people don't understand that when we're talking about mother tongue, we're not advocating for one above the other.
No.
Multilingual is that, okay, start from your mother tongue, but don't stop there.
Actually, I'm also trying to say that if we start from our mother tongue and we don't stop there, there should be something to preserve that mother, this World Literacy Day, to maybe build dictionaries in these various languages so that we can preserve these languages and have some reference point. And leave these dictionaries to be reference books so that if you encounter anything, you could refer back to them. I know in the first democracy was about the second, when Adasu was in charge, I remember there was this deliberate government policy that wanted dictionaries in the indigenous languages. They even went ahead to encourage Bibles in the indigenous languages. But where those things are going now, we don't understand again. It looks like they have been abandoned for some time. If individuals, groups, industries, captains of industries, and people of various economic backgrounds can come together to make sure we have these facilities in our various languages, it will be good.
You're listening to Agate Radio, its perspectives, and I have in the studio with me talking about promoting multilingual literacy, Reverend Father Professor Didacus Kajo and Elder Adimanyi Oguche. Hello, good morning.
Yes, Emmanuel, I don't know where I'm calling again.
Don't know where you have called before and would like to give
others I want to submit something here quickly, sir.
Okay, quickly, 30 seconds.
Yes, you borrow when you don't have. So in a situation where when we are speaking our languages, then we borrow foreign languages to come and match up with the conversation.
Okay.
To be prohibited. And this must be done by the family members because the government cannot come and force us in our families to do something right. We cannot use force in that. So we are in the right position to, insist that we use the words in our languages and have to borrow a word from another language only when there is not
okay.
such of that word in our language.
All right. Thank you so much, James. Thank you. James Dunduve calling back in again. Please, if you have called before, allow others to get through and contribute. And let's keep our contributions sharp and crisp. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Morning, sir.
You're speaking with Tekula Haji from Boko Local Government.
Tekula who?
Haji.
Haji, okay. Tekula Haji. What part of Boko are you calling us from?
I'm in Batiav.
All right.
Close to Akbar.
Okay.
I want to appreciate you so much for the program of today. It's nice, very nice program. Great to visit us with you in the studio. In fact, I get one of my brother who is from Makodi. He brought back his children, and when the small children are just waving them, the man says, "My children are not Sabitive language." See, we're in the village, and see Makodi here. Person there in Makodi can't tell us in the village that his children know Sabitive language. Imagine, and I'm a hand worker. You get the one time I go to Kwara State, Hilolin, to work in one of the secondary schools. They are not even teaching in English in that secondary school. I am wondering, I just asking some teachers that, why are they teaching in Yoruba language? Every class from GS1 to SS3. How they can't write the exams? They say, no worry. Kosi Wahara, na so Yoruba they talk. You see, they are teaching in Yoruba language strictly. Coming to our place, some people are down. You see, it's not good. Try and learn your language. And even in the schools where we are going to learn, there must be a language, there is a model language there to learn in some schools, up to universities. It's a very good one. So I just want to appreciate you. Greet the professor in the studio with you and the other visitor.
All right.
Now let me take up this quickly. The prof mentioned it. Yesterday was the Literacy Day, the World Literacy Day.
Yes.
What is literacy? Literacy is to learn to read and write, isn't it? And say learn to read and write in your language so that you'll be able to preserve. I think we use the word preserve. So you preserve our culture. If we can record it, we have the symbols, the alphabet to write down our languages. Then that is orthography. Using the orthography now, you'll be able to record our culture for posterity, for children who will come after this generation to read. This was what happened here. This was what happened, the culture and the values, the practices in this area.
So literacy is not limited to the lingua franca, Prof, of
No,
English.
no,
If you
it's
can
not
read and
limited.
write in Tiv,
Yes.
in Hausa, in Biro, you are literate.
You can preserve your, yes, you're literate. Okay.
And today is the International Day to protect education from attack.
Okay.
Which,
What a beautiful marriage.
Yes.
uh-huh.
Okay.
Which links very well with what we are talking about here. Okay, so what we celebrated yesterday is linked very much with what we are celebrating today.
That's all right.
We're taking more calls. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Nathan.
It's Emmanuel, and Nathan will be back
Okay,
later.
okay, sorry.
No need for apologies. I can proudly be baptized as Nathaniel if you so choose.
Okay, good morning, Nathan. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guests in the house.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Okay, my name is Tefa SP, calling from KN, Kano, northwest part of Nigeria this morning.
Oh, Kuluke, how is Kano today?
We have very sunny weather today. The weather is sunny.
Okay.
To me, if state government or state house of assembly can pass or enact law, especially from teaching indigenous language, starting from primary school to junior secondary school, I think the thing will yield positive results. Because most of the times now, our children that they are coming up now, most of them, they don't know their mother tongue. And this thing is causing a lot of worries in our society. You can see a child, when they brought him or her, if you tell him he should recite some jokes or some poem, even in their local dialect, they will not say, I don't know, they don't teach me. And this thing is not good. But if you can come to North here, I think they make it compulsory that Hausa, or if you go to Northeast or Northwest, Yoruba or Igbo is compulsory. In most of the states, they are teaching them. So to me, I'm calling on the government, let them enact so that
Tefa, I don't want to jump in, but there is a law to that effect, and it has been domesticated. An elder had mentioned it, Elder Adimangi had mentioned it earlier, that it has been domesticated, just that it's not yet implemented.
So they should try and implement it so that they will be teaching Idoma, the Tiv, the Igede,
all right,
and the rest. I think by that we need positive results. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much and have a great day out there in Kano.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Have a fabulous day.
Yes. Tefa Kuluke all the way from Kano, encouraging government to ensure that the domesticated law is enforced. Hello?
Jaya, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I salute the men in the house too, doing justice to this topic. My name is Comrade Tefa Ako, calling you all the way from Akwehe Makodi here.
All right, Tefa Ako?
Yes.
Okay.
So the man with the golden voice. I so much like this topic because it's very educative.
Yes, sir.
In the sense that I learned Yoruba when I was schooled in Lagos, Ekpe to be precise, my primary school days.
Okay.
I was able to speak Hausa when I got to Kaduna Polytechnic to do my A-level studies.
Okay.
And so many other things. So this is a very good topic. We're not just talking of TV, Doma, or Igede, but we're talking of multi-language. And it's very good. You know, people are gifted. Some of us were not well gifted. I was in Igbo, I couldn't speak Igbo. I don't know, maybe because they were mixing English and Igbo at the same time as they speak. Nah, man, it had the bariski. You know, so it wasn't easy for some of us to grab it. But at least others, I think it's a good topic. It's good. I love the way the radio is presenting issues to us now. It's very educative. We learn a lot when you speak on issues like this. So I want to thank you, and I want to join other speakers who are saying parents should teach our children languages. Yes, if we have to make it mono, is the whole thing starts in the house, not outside, not in the school. Like the other speaker said, parents will say, oh, my child doesn't know how to speak TIV language. Bloody, that is rubbish. They should know how to speak the language and go out to learn the one that they don't know. I think that is what we're talking about. Go out and learn the English you don't know outside your home. Learn the Hausa, learn the Yoruba, learn the Igbo, and so forth and so forth, so on. So I think it's a good thing. Well, let's say it's early warning because some of us are not young again. We had all these privileges way back in our primary school when it was class 1 to 7. Not this one that they do 5 years or 6 years. I mean 6 years now. So it was so nice. We had a lot to learn, and our children are not privileged to have those this thing again. The opportunity they have is language, English language, English language. That's all. That's all. We're all culprits because sometimes my children don't speak TIV too, but I teach them TIV in the house when they're back. In school, I say go and learn that language that you don't know at home. So we need to encourage ourselves, and it's very good. These are good topics to encourage us. And it's a wake-up call for some people. Not like all of some of us who are already teaching them TIV because they read strictly TIV Bible in the house, not English. When you go there in the school, go and learn those things you don't know in the house.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Thank you
I
so
wish
much.
for the
Okay.
best.
Thank you.
God bless all the speakers you have in the house, including yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. That's Comrade Tefako from Akuhe in Makudi saying that at home he advocates for only, he allows only for TIV to, even during devotions, only TIV Bible. Hello? Hello? Okay, we lost that call. Hello?
Hello?
Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mbala Professor Emmanuel Chavia Chukunoye.
Good morning.
I am Engineer Sunday Akpa, calling from Lombak Makodi.
Engineer, good morning.
Thank you very much. I tell you with every authority that I'm an Idoma man. I can speak Idoma. I can write in Idoma. My children speak Idoma. They write in Idoma. I can also speak Igala language. I speak English. I speak French. If I'm in Australia today, my children must learn how to speak my language. It's important. Why should I be teaching them English when I'm paying money in school for teachers to teach them? Why should I be doing another teacher's work? It's an aberration. The problem is that people think that English language or any other language is superior to their own. No, what a shame. What a shame. No language is superior to any other one. Your mother tongue is important. If you don't know how to speak your language, you have lost your identity. You have lost, and very soon your language will go to extinction and will not be existing any longer. So we must make conscious effort. Parents must make conscious effort to teach our children our indigenous languages, and when they learn that, they can also learn the other languages around. I'm learning how to speak to you now. Because I'm around. I need to relate with people.
Okay.
That is the thing.
Maybe
Yes.
you'll come to me for lessons.
Yes, no, I'll do that.
All right. Thank Thank you so much.
Kanahaga.
Kanaha.
Also, Peshi. Chukuyayo
Chuku yeyo naga.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Greetings to your guests there.
They are with you. Thank you so
very
much.
much.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Engineer Sunday Akwa from North Bank, aiming to be a polyglot. He already speaks French, English, Idoma, and Igala.
Very good.
He's heading towards a polyglot.
Congratulations.
Hello? Hello? Okay, we lost that call. Hello?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning. What is your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Engineer Augustine AK, calling from 72 Barracks.
Engineer Augustine.
AK.
Okay. Augustine AK. Carry on, we're listening.
It's okay, this topic is a very nice one. People have talked about parents allowing their children to learn their language. We want to talk about the aspect of the teachers, the effectiveness of the teachers. It's important for the pioneering teachers. You know, these languages, they don't have established syllabuses. So the teachers, the pioneering teachers that are going to be teaching these languages should be exposed to basic linguistics. By the time they are exposed to basic linguistics, they'll be able to easily incorporate these things into the syllabuses and teach them effectively for the pupils to understand. Thank you very much.
Well, Engineer AK, it will interest you to know that our local languages have syllables. So.
Okay, I've been in Benin State since 1986, and they've been trying to teach TIF. Then I was still in primary 3.
Yes.
They've been trying to teach Steve from that time till up till I left primary school.
Edadimanyi is
Never
here to bear
successful.
me witness.
Yes.
Edadimanyi has a syllabus in front of him as we speak.
No, I'm talking about then, from that
Yes.
time.
Okay.
These ones are just recent development.
Yes. Thank you
Yes,
so
it's
much.
okay.
Have a
Thank you
No,
very much.
let me comment. I think what he's trying to say, teaching should also be developed into a form of professionalism.
Okay.
That is what we are lacking now.
Yes.
First, we started with teacher training colleges. That is after primary school. You begin to build up a career.
Right from the secondary level for a teacher.
Yes, right from post-primary, immediately after primary school, you go in for grade 3, teacher training. After grade 3, you go for grade 2. After grade 2, then you will go for grade 1 teacher training.
Okay.
But at this time, at a point, the government decided, like I was going in for grade 3, but we went straight for grade 5 years for a grade 2 course. After that, you go for NCE, then go for a degree. Then you are trained as a teacher how to handle children, how to teach them at various levels. But today, most of the people who are teaching in our schools are not trained teachers. There are people who have certificates in other areas, either engineers, mass communication, any other subject area, and they don't have jobs. So they are grafted into teaching. They don't have the methodology. They do not understand child development. In Form 3, in the teacher training, when I was in, you are given a child to study, and you come back and report on that child on a daily basis. How the child relates with the family. If it's a girl, does he sweep in the evening, sweep in the morning? Does he go to the kitchen? It's only then that see the nitty-gritty of the mother tongue as you grow up. The environment around you, you understand the environment, and you develop into it. Now, you have the child that goes to the kitchen. There are other things more than the kitchen building. The stove is there, the soup they are going to cook, the ingredients, the names are there, and it's practical. They see it, and they become part of it. But today, they are not there. So even if we are going to do it, start teaching the indigenous languages, maybe we'll try to build the environment around them.
First.
But yes, first.
All right. All right. Let's take some of your text messages, and don't forget we just have a few more minutes to take calls. 0814-335-9292. But before we read the messages, let's take this call. Hello.
Good morning, please.
Morning.
My name is Amenge Godwin, calling from Mobile Barracks at DK Makodi Naka Road.
Amenge Godwin, Mobile Barracks. Welcome.
Yes, sir. My greetings to the prof and the elder man. I so much have opportunity that I'm studying languages and linguistics at Benue State University 400.
Okay.
Learning a language or understanding a language has to do with mutual intelligibility. And also, second, which is L2, second language acquisition. Mother tongue is the first thing that one needs to have. Then you can proceed on learning second language of any language of your choice which you want to learn. Today we have a deficiency which directly I'm saying to myself, I'm thief by tribe. I can speak very well, but in terms of writing becomes a problem simply because I was not taught right there at primary school. I graduated at NKST Primary School, Wadata, 1999. Because there was no teaching in thief language that would give me that ability to speak and write. I can speak very well, but comes to the terms of writing, I find it very difficult, which I'm also encouraging and also pleading on the government to hasten and enact its laws or its policies to start teaching right at the primary level. Right there at the primary level, to enhance the pupils to have that knowledge to write and also speak in their own mother tongue. Because the parents cannot just do it alone. The parents will teach, but they will not have chance to like, to give them that ability to write. It is the teacher, which is the school, that will give them that ability to write their own mother tongue and speak their own mother tongue very well. So if the government will step up on this in order to make it that the children will be writing their mother tongue, then they will find it very easy to learn at any level. And this should not just be based on primary school alone, secondary to even university. If these things would be done, I think mother tongue of a thing, it will not be a problem. So that's just my little take on it, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Amengi Godwin.
You're welcome.
And that's the last call we'll take for today. Let's take your text, the text messages that we have received. This one says, "Good morning, Chief Host, my able professor and elder in the topic, and you have all done justice to it. Kudos." And he adds, "Promoting multilingual education in Benue State and Nigeria is crucial for preserving cultural diversity, improving learning outcomes, and fostering national unity. By incorporating local languages into education, students can better understand complex concepts, develop their mother tongue, and connect with their heritage. This approach also prepares students to a globalized world where language skills are highly valued. I know a few of my classmates who are thief by tribe but deny it in public for reasons I do not know. Surely that might be a fault from the home where she grew up, when the parents also use foreign tongue to converse with their children most of the time, neglecting their mother tongue. Let's embrace linguistic diversity and empower the next generation through multilingual education. Thank you, sir." Thank you so much, Cho Emmanuel, for your contribution. Oliver Nikia in Abenga Aliede says, "Greetings. It's good for someone to know how to speak and write in his or her local language, so the languages should be introduced in our schools." And it's time now for us to bring our concluding thoughts. Let me start with you, Elder Dimanyi. Talk to us about what you believe, in a few words, can be done to ensure that multilingual education becomes part and parcel of our formal and informal educational systems.
So thank you very much. I think I will go back to the last speak, the caller. He said he could speak T very well, but he cannot write it. And the program is now highlighting on literacy. Literacy is the writing. When you write it, it will be at stages. That is linguistics, we call it. Language, you hear it, you identify it. Then we have what we call phonetics, the study of sounds in physical terms. This is a noun, this is that, this is that. Then we have syntax, the study of the formation and the structure of sentences and phrases. We do that one in part of the teaching, the syllabus. The syllabus that the teacher will teach, the teacher that is trained to teach it. Unless the teacher is trained to do that. Then we have semantics. Each word has its own meaning. So you have to identify the meaning in that mother tongue that you are reading, like that boy. I sympathize with him. He knows he's studying. He's in 400 level, he said. But he's studying linguistics, but he can't write his own language. Can't codify it. So that would the scientist said linguistics is the scientific study of languages. And so if we can incorporate it now in our syllabus, in primary schools, translated into post-primary and to tertiary institutions, I think we'll be glad for it. And multilingualism, people from each person will learn in his own local area and will come together After all, we come from different.
Nigeria, we hail thee, on their native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigeria. We thank God. I've tried. Anyway, our national anthem is a source of pride, and you can hear from the lyrics.
Yes.
Though tongue and tribe may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Prof.
This is communalism.
Yes, and
lingualism.
It's just a beautiful dovetailing of all that we are discussing here. Yes. And now, Prof, talk to us about the value, the importance, the relevance, the benefit of multilingual literacy for even technological development, coming from a technical university as you do.
Yes. To talk about this, I would like to read the pledge for the Literacy Day today. Let me read the first stanza. Today I stand and pledge with faith of my ability to grow through reading and discussions. I pledge to promote the development of my country through judicious reading of books as well as digital and thorough right action. I shall read books and practice digital reading for knowledge as well as technological empowerment. I shall shine the light of knowledge gained to solve problems in the face I face, as well as the challenges that affect my country. So help me God. But if we adapt this to technical education, we'll see that what technical education is all about, using technology to empower ourselves. And as we use technology to empower ourselves, we empower ourselves by using the concepts that we know traditionally in our first languages, and then we go on. And so, coming from a technical institution like mine, where technical education is very much promoted, I think the concepts are very important, because now we can use machineries to do the kind of things we want to do within our own local setups. Like now we have machines we use in farming yam. But for you to come up with a machine to farm yam, you must also know how to farm the yam first.
And therefore the language of the yam farmers.
So the language of the yam too. And then you can build a machine to pound that also, and to do that, and to do this and do that. So I think in this multilingual literacy that we are talking about here, technical education can incorporate into it very well, and should be very much adaptable to this setup. And we can help ourselves very much if we do that. And so we should take it very seriously and take it as a means of empowering ourselves. Read more books, read the technological development of other cultures, how they apply it to their own cultures, and try to adapt what they do to what we do here, and then we can move forward.
Thank you so much, Prof. What a beautiful way to land. I've had the pleasure of hosting erudite minds in the person of Reverend Father Professor Didakus Kaju of the College of Education, Joseph Sawantaka University, Makurdi. Thank you so much, Prof, for the honor done to iGet Radio.
Thank you.
And of course, retired PAM Sec, formerly of several establishments in the Benue State Civil Service, as well as former lecturer of Idoma language at BSU and present president, Idoma Language Development Council at Oguche Adimaye. Thank you so much, Okwani, for joining us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
And dear listener, we'll be back again on Wednesday with another interesting conversation. For now, keep innovating in making sure that we learn not just one language, but more and more and more, as much as our brains can absorb. Good morning and goodbye.
Radio 95.5 Star FM, Makudi.